Hello, 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 and welcome to this Cubase stream in which I'm going to talk a little bit about my project, which is The Last of the Mohicans, The Kiss by the genius Trevor Jones. And it's one of my all-time favorite soundtrack songs. It's just really, really good. And the interesting thing about this project is that it's purely virtual instruments, no live playing at all, and no audio, only MIDI. And if you know the tune, you know that there is like this really intricate solo violin line which repeats throughout the song, which is really quite complex because it's like quite fast and it's played in a style of like Irish jig, I guess. So the first question is it realistic to think that you can actually duplicate it with just virtual violins and VSTs? Yeah, I was just interested in seeing that would it be possible. And in the past like 5 to 6 years, I've been focused mainly on like my production speed, so to speak, because I've been focusing on building a catalog. And in catalog kind of production, you really need to dish out material fast, like every week. So I've been really like trying to just practice that how much faster could I make something from scratch. And when it comes to learning or producing like a mock-up or your own version of an existing song, there are like two things that you sort of like have to process. You have to be able to listen to the original song in a way that sort of like builds in your own mind the analytical copy of that song. So when I listen to the original song, I try to break it down to pieces, like layers, like what's the violin playing, what are the harmonic elements or layers between them, what kind of groove or rhythm does it have, what kind of counterpoint kind of things is going on. And then usually I want to make my own interpretation. I don't want to do like exact copy, but rather just take some important parts of the original and then go with it and go with the flow and improvise something. So when it comes to this specific song, I was first interested in the actual melodic line played by the violin, the solo violin, and then after that building the basic frame of the song, otherwise like what the other orchestral instruments are doing, and trying to sort of like build it layer by layer until I feel that it has enough material that actually sounds close to the original one, so that I know that I don't want to add anything extra to not make it too like heavy or full of stuff that's not really that important. And yeah, basically that's it. And this is the outcome, not too many layers. And I actually made like 2 versions of this song. The first version was just these tracks here. And then a bit later I did a bit more full version and added these layers to the mix. And if we go from the start, I can sort of like start playing how it sounded, because I basically did it almost in this order, one track by one. And my way of producing is actually like playing everything live. I just pick an instrument, then I push record and start playing with my MIDI keyboard. And I sometimes quantize, but not usually. And if I play any wrong notes, I just fix them afterwards. But the sort of like where the hits land, they are usually quite close to what I played in. So it's a bit different way from many other producers who like to use piano roll and sort of like engineer the tune from scratch. But I rather play everything, because for me it's the most intuitive way to actually make music, to play everything. I've played piano for a long time, and for me like improvising on piano is just like really, it feels natural to me. So whenever I produce music, it's mostly playing live, and all of the layers are played live. So I just always move to the next layer, push record and start playing. And I think that that's probably one of the reasons that my main project, Celestial Aeon project, sounds the way it does, because basically all of the tracks that you hear from Celestial Aeon are sort of like live music, so to speak, because even if I do them in studio, I basically record live playing. So the first challenge was to try and see. I actually used Joshua Bell violin, I think. What's the name? Let's see. Ember Tones. Yeah, Joshua Bell violin. And let's see if I can see. Yeah, I used delicate and intuitive shorts and fiddled around a bit like this. And then I felt that it would give me sort of like good enough sort of like intuitive way of actually playing it so that it sounds pretty okay. And here is how it sounded when I had recorded the first layer. Let's go. So, pretty okay, considering that it's basically played like in one take, and that's it. So now I already have like the basic structure of the song, because I can just repeat this throughout the song. Then the next thing to do was to sort of like start building something on top of that or underneath that. So next I went with groove. So I took some tablas and just pitched them down so that it became a bit more like this kind of frame drum-ish, but not exactly. Once again, just played it in one take. And start looping that. Then the next layer, some epic frame drums to beef it up a bit and create that more like a strong beat on top of that tabla, which is a bit more faster. So now we start to get like the basic vibe for the actual song, and now usually I just start thinking that how to build from that and how far to go. So the next thing that I did was these sort of like longer bass, violin and cello layers. So if we go with the first one, so this was pretty much what the original had as well. So I sort of like made the core melody line on top of the solo violin, and then added some bass notes and some brass actually, yeah. So some kind of basic counterpoint kind of thing there. And then moving on, let's see, which is this one. Yeah, more violin lines, which play a bit different thing. Let's see. More brass. More brass. So quite a lot of different layers, doing a bit like counterpoint kind of thing. And then, moving on, let's see what's next. Yeah, some sort of like native instrument, Native American like flute. And some humming choirs from Stretsov sampling. And some boy and female choirs. Yeah, so that's basically it. And now we have the full layering. Let's see. And this was sort of like the biggest layering for the original version, which I then just outroed with minimalistic outro thing. But then I decided to make a bit more longer version with a bit more stuff going on, so all the layers that are now there are still there, but then I added these. So let's see. Okay, well, I'm not hearing anything. Okay, here there are something. I have to see why that one mid track is not working. Some brass. And oil lamp pipes, yeah. But yeah, basically that's it. There's like one MIDI track that's not currently working properly, but I will check into it. But yeah, hopefully this was interesting to see. And all in all, it took me maybe like 1 hour and 30 minutes or something from scratch, because basically there's not too much of anything to play. Most of these lines were quite simple, and you can basically play them in one take, so it doesn't really take too many minutes to just go from layer to layer and put everything in. The main thing is to just have this kind of arrangement kind of way of thinking, that what should I add next, and if you have good take on your libraries, you basically know that okay, I need this one, I need this one, and then I use this one. So there's like not much procrastination going on, because you are all going forward like a train. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thank you for listening.